Hello everybody and welcome to Berringer and part 2 of Susannah's scratch building. And here we are at the new shot end with the china clay building behind you, and currently you're looking at my roadway which I've made a start on with the cobbled streets, well, granite set it's actually called, and this is another one of the wheels packs that you can use and buy. And you can get them, again it comes in a pack of 4 in these sheets, and if I give you the code it says SSMP204, and this is a wheels kit. It comes in these brown packets, and like I said you can get brickwork, stonework, all sorts, and this is also from the wheels range, as is the roof, all from these brown packets that I am showing you. Now some of the other bits, useful bits to use when scratch building is stuff like this. This is a free newspaper that comes in to my post, and it's great to use as templates. And what I'll do is, if I just show you, say for example we've got this little bit here, what you can do is you put it down there and you can feel the edge of the rail, and you can run your finger edge along the edge of the rail. And what that does is it creates this little imprint, as you can probably see along here, and then you can cut along with that to create your template that goes in the middle here, and that's precisely the method that I've used here, and then basically layered the card in order to get it to fit. I mean, it doesn't quite fit just yet because it is going to need a bit of trimming to make it sit right and sit proper. Now if I just raise the car, sorry, the lorry I should say, and the forklift out of the way, you can see how it's made. And I've shown you this yesterday, and this is basically 2 layers of card, and then there's 1 layer of card on the top which overhangs, and then that sits in there, and then the plastic card is just glued on top with the contact adhesive. And like I've said to you before, I was using Will's contact adhesive. Now this leads me on to the next useful tool, and it's nothing very exciting but it's extremely useful, and that is a clothes peg. And the clothes peg you can get from any haberdashery store. I think I bought this pack from Sainsbury's for £1 and it had about 24. And the great thing about these things is for use for the road here, and it's also used for the walling, and that is to do that. So when you attach your plastic cards to your card, basically you could just use the clothes pegs and line them up as you go along until they set, and that ensures that the glue is spread onto the card and that it's making good contact with the card behind, so when you remove it, it sits flush and then there isn't any gaps to it. And this is just like a simple clothes peg that, like I said, I bought a pack of 24 for about £1 or something like that. So, and it's a great modeller's friend, it really is. I've used it in so many ways. I've used it on the roof, and the thing is the contact adhesive goes off very quickly, so it is a great little tool to use. One of my other buildings, well, things that I've scratch built, is this retaining wall, and this was also used pegs and things like that to hold the various layers together whilst it's set, and this was done with 3 layers of card, and there is a video out there to show you how to do it, as I did the back wall a little while ago, and how to put the arches and how to go about doing that. So please check out that video if you are interested in making something like this. And again, this is used with the wheels arches, and then that gave me the shape for the arches. And basically what I cut out I kept behind, and then basically use that to infill that. So basically what you do is when you cut the flat sheet and you're cutting around this archway and you're left with this little insert in the middle here, you then reuse that little insert for the background, and that's pretty much what I've done, so it doesn't go to waste or anything. And then the top is just layered with card. The planter is another little scratch build, and again this is used from the wheels kit, and this is the wooden planking. And I've used this to make a planter, and I painted it in red because those of you who know my layout, it's like NSE and that sort of time period. But obviously you can dress it up, you can use stone or whatever and make a planter out of the stone sheets. That's another one you can use to dress stone for. And if I take it out, I'll just lift it out for you if I can. It's a little bit tricky because you're trying to do it all with one hand, but basically it will pop out eventually, so you'll have to just give me a minute. And that's the planter in a nutshell. It's just a couple of bits of wooden planking glued together on the ends. This is just a load of card put together to create the height, and then you just basically insert it in, and then you just basically use whatever foliage you have, and there you go. You've got a little planter just like that. Doesn't take very much, and again if you use the right adhesive it doesn't take very long to go off. You just have to probably hold it for a few seconds. As we move along, we have our scratch built station building. That's also using the wooden planking underneath, and that's also laid with card which has been folded over. The wheels, awning and balancing set, that's what's after the balancing set. That's also from Wills, and you get it in strips and then you just cut it to suit. The top is just sandpaper, again very cheap, very easy to find, very readily available. So none of this stuff is particularly expensive, and when you consider that you can buy stuff from Bachmann and Hornby, and even a simple building these days seems to cost quite a lot of money in my view. Again, like I was saying yesterday, and these are the arch kits. These are the matchsticks that I've also used and cut and painted. Doors are just made out of card and just pop through the gaps. And also to hold the awning is also matchsticks. So again, it's very cheap build. As we move along, the footbridge is an old triangle footbridge, but again I've basically I've created these recesses for these bookstores to sit under, and also a clever little feature of this is I have shown you once before in a video, but I'm not sure for how recently, so I'll show it to you anyway. If you remove the station building, so you can actually see that there's a lip, and this lip allows you to remove the footbridge. And as you can see, the footbridge has a gap there, so if any passengers are trying to cross it, obviously sort of kill themselves doing it. So basically that just sits on there, that covers the hole, and basically the station building then secures that down nicely and you don't see it. And that's a nice little feature. The same applied to the Model Sings bus stop. Model Sings bus stop has got a lip on the bottom, but I didn't really want to see that because it looks unsightly, so what I've done is I've taken a piece of the pavement, which is part of the scale scenes range of pavements and concrete, cut a slit into that, slid the base into the slit and slid it underneath, so the actual base of the bus stop is there, but you can't see it because it looks like it's been bedded in because it's been fed through the slice in the concrete. So that's another little tip. We also have a number of advertising boardings, and they're made very easily, and I've also covered this in a previous video, so please check it out if you're interested. And here's one just here that's fallen off that needs to be reattached, and basically it's made out of a piece of card, and as you can see it's got some double-sided tape on it, and basically you just surround it with matchsticks. That's the edging, long matchsticks, extra long matchsticks to create the edging. And then you just print off whatever advertising you can find, and the advertisings all come off Google Images. So again, it's nothing terribly expensive, but it does a job. And as we move along, I tried to create a little building to sort of bed in with the back scene, so it's sort of like a low relief sort of back of a building. That's just a scrap piece of wood, and again it's just coated in some plasticard to give it the brick effect. It needs to be toned down a bit. This brick paper here is just come from the Metcalf range leftovers from the terraced houses, which are just over there. So that's another use for some of the Metcalf spares. Just use that. So there's plenty of ideas and things to mess around with, and a lot of these scratch builds that I do, they're not terribly expensive. So if you get it wrong, like I said, just use paper and to get the templates right, and then when you're ready, transfer them onto something a bit more solid. So I hope this has been of some use to you all. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment and subscribe as always, and I will just sort of leave you with a view of another 2 of my scratch builds, and I will say goodbye. So bye for now, take care,